Welcome everybody to the September 30th architecture meeting. And Tracy's looking for a link for what's it called? The DevOps dozen?
Yep. So the DevOps dozen, and let me just quickly share my screen and I'll show you everybody what it's about. Okay, so it's the DevOpsDozen.com. It's done by the people who are at MediaOps, the DevOps.com site. There are several categories. There is most innovative DevOps open source project. So you just go in there, you nominate it. When you go do the nomination, it's going to ask for somewhat of a description. I would just put in you can write something if you want, but you can put in the Ortelius link up here, and then you can just put the standard Ortelius description. You don't have to, doesn't have to be unique. You can copy it from the website, and that's all you got to do. And then the other one that I would ask you to nominate is nominate me as the top DevOps evangelist. So 6 and 9. There's some other things in here if you find that it's interesting to nominate, but those are the two that I would ask that you guys make sure and do. Let's get as many nominations for Ortelius as we can. So the way that these whoever has the highest number of nominations, they go to a final vote. So we just want to be sure at minimum we get us on the list for the final vote.
It just takes a few seconds to go ahead and fill out the form. So
it's very easy.
And
share it.
Yeah, and if you could share it along to the other folks in the group and other people, we want to stuff the ballot boxes for both of these.
Hey, Tracy, this is Ujjwal. This is my first meeting.
Well, welcome.
Yay, I'm so happy. Welcome and congratulations on the new baby.
Thank you. It's 7 a.m. I did not, somehow the meeting didn't show up earlier, but it popped up this morning, so I just jumped on.
Great. Well, welcome. I'm super happy to have you.
Thank you.
Who else is on here that should meet him? Let me see. So Sasha, Ujjwal, he has some experience with like podcast and broadcasting and interviewing. So he's definitely somebody you want to, the two of you should definitely touch base and maybe get Sime on that call too.
Okay, awesome. I'll do that. Yeah, because I have no experience.
No, he's going to be, he is busy. They just had a brand new baby. But thank you so much for attending today. I know that new babies can create some havoc in the house. So
yeah, no problem. Hey, good morning, everyone.
You want to tell, why don't you give us a little bit of your background?
Sure. So I'm Ujjwal Yelmareddy. I'll put my LinkedIn in the chat in a minute. But I've been working as a cloud architect and a software engineering architect for services company called Axion Labs until the beginning of this year. Then I founded my own company called Interest Labs. We are also a services company in the space of Kubernetes and microservices platforms. We initiate and accelerate the build out of the infrastructure through automation using Terraform and Ansible, and basically help the developers and the development team get a secure, hardened platform within weeks instead of months through automation. So that's our forte and area of focus in any cloud, whether it is Azure, AWS, or Google.
That is awesome.
Nice. And where are you located?
I'm located in the Bay Area, little outside Bay Area called East Bay, Pleasanton area. I don't know if you know that, but
Yep, we're headed over there for the Linux Foundation Leadership Summit. So we're gonna be in Napa, right down the street from you.
yeah, a couple of hours from where we live.
Well, welcome aboard. I don't know if Tracy had sent you the link, but there is a Discord channel that we use. And it's kind of broken up into there's a general category and the development category. The general category, Sasha will make sure that we're all over the place in the general category with any topic. And then in the dev category, we try to focus on more around development of the Ortelius side. So we, like Tracy was saying, Simon and Sasha and Sergio, you know, are able to find these unique projects and tools, bring them to our attention to see how we can make our lives better. So it's a good community. Again, welcome aboard. And today we're going to be diving into some of our architecture. So one of the things that we have going on right now is we have our service catalog release that we're trying to get out. So that is up and running. If you're interested, you can go to the Ortelius.io homepage, and you can get a user ID to get signed up. I'm in the process of adding in some additional data. So when you get logged in, we'll set up some data, predefine some data for you to play with. So it's a little bit easier to test with. So that's going to be, we're trying to get that wrapped up here pretty quick. Also, we'll need help for some documentation of new features. So if you see something out there that interests you, please go ahead and grab the documentation. For those of you that aren't familiar, our documentation is just in a markdown that it runs underneath a Hugo server. So it's really easy to update and work with. And one of the other things that we need to look at is how we can start distributing Ortelius as part of our process.
Okay, like you mean how do we?
Yeah, so because we moved into a microservice architecture, it's not so traditionally Ortelius is the hybrid. There's a monolith piece that we have that is running underneath Tomcat, and then the service catalog update, we've added I believe it's 5 new microservices. So if we look at how things are broken out, we basically have about I think it's, I want to say 8 or 9 basically containers that we need to package up. Before, in the past, is really easy. You know, we had the monolith. You had you basically said, go download this Docker image and hit Docker run or throw it in your Kubernetes cluster. You're good to go. But now we have basically 9 Helm charts for each one for each of the services. So there's 5 for the microservices and a couple for the monolith that we have the charts for. So does anybody have any familiarity with, like, this used to be called Helm Hub, or Helm had a way to, if you look at Helm,
And that is just like
Docker Hub?
Yeah, it's like Docker Hub exactly, but instead of putting the images up there, you end up putting the your charts.
Yeah.
So
Like
it's like
ML5.
it's like a chart hub now. What's it? There's an open source project called Harbor. I think it's Harbor. That allows you to
Download dependencies.
yeah, and get you going on that. So they have moved this over to a new website and stuff. And what I'm wondering is if it makes sense for us to push up to Artifact Hub. It's going to be like any of the other repositories, like PyPy or like Docker Hub. You have to log in, upload your charts and stuff like that to that. There's the other one is Bitnami. Bitnami will support how basically a place to store your charts for people to grab them as well. So does anybody have any familiar with either Bitnami or this Artifact Hub?
Or we can have something like a packaging script that we can push it to Git, and that can kind of orchestrate the all the deployment from. We can use that script as a initiator for pulling down all the Helm charts from wherever we have.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Single line command or a shell script or whatever we call it, that can orchestrate the deployment.
Right. So it'd be like a single line shell script where you pipe it.
Yeah.
Single line command that basically runs a shell script.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. What was is that how Istio's distributed?
Yeah. So Istio is kind of the Helm chart itself it has a bunch of containers that are required for Istio.
Right.
But I think the Istio controller has a lot of dependencies in the YAML file. You can install Prometheus and other stuff if you want through the service mesh setup itself.
Right.
And are you looking for the entire setup along with the like underlying Docker environment as well? Because
no, we would assume that the Docker or Kubernetes would be already up and running,
okay.
and that we would be using Helm to install into Kubernetes.
Okay. Yeah, because you can actually, the other thing just to keep in mind is that if for example, I'm new to Ortelius and if I want a demo environment for myself, and I don't have anything running, so something where I could do like a mini cube pull down with the entire Ortelius running within itself, like a local environment or on AWS or Azure, wherever it can be.
Right.
So packaging Ortelius with some with all the microservices along with a couple of dummy servers is something that we can also kind of have it in the future, I guess.
Yeah, so we've been having better luck with Kind as the local development environment instead of Minikube. And Sasha, you're playing around with a different one, weren't you? Other than Kind, was it Podman? I can't remember what you and Sergio were working with.
No, we're using Kind, yeah.
Okay.
We are using, yeah. We'll probably switch to Podman eventually, yeah.
So Podman is like an alternate to Docker, right? if that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah,
Bit of a different architecture. Apparently, it's more secure.
right. Okay, that's a great idea. I will open, I like the idea of using the like the single line to get the shell script and off and running, and we go out and grab what we need. It makes it simple so people don't have to go and hunt things down. And I think we can be able to pull from our Docker, I mean, our GitHub repos, the Helm charts as part of that process. I do think that we should still have some visibility on Artifact Hub and Bitnami, but maybe that's down the road that we look at that. We'll have to find out how they like the things packaged here for these. I have a feeling what they look for is a single Helm chart, so like a monolith Helm chart to do the install, which we may need to do some, like you're saying, some sort of scripting to pull our Helm charts together, kind of do like a packaging step, and then send them up to Artifact Hub as part of our build process. But some great ideas. But I think the first and probably the easiest will be that writing a shell script that we can just run as a single command, do like a curl and pipe it through SH or something like that to get us up and going. We do have the contributor guide, and I don't know if the contributor guide has been updated to I know we were working on recommendations for local environments. We should probably double check on the what we recommend for like Kind versus Minikube, some of those setups at that level. Arvin, were you ever able to get Kind up and running on your local machine?
Yeah, Kind is running in my local machine, and I am now learning Helm.
Perfect. Okay, excellent.
Legend of and
Just so
Thank you.
everybody knows, this topic could be a topic for our December event. Actually, I put one of the topics is how to set up your local environment to become an Ortelius developer. So if anybody's interested in grabbing that topic, please do so. We're looking for, I think, just 4 presentations for December, and I've reached out to a few guest speakers. I'm trying to get somebody from solo.io to talk about service mesh, actually.
Is it only specific to Ortelius, or like service mesh, Kubernetes, anything is
For
fine?
the December event, you can talk about any topic that you feel passionate about. Let me find that.
So one of the topics that I would probably talk about is like a general roadmap of modernizing an application. Like if you're going from a monolith to microservices, what are some areas you can be efficient at and kind of save a lot of time, and anything that we can tie in Ortelius into that, I'm okay doing that as well.
That would be amazing. You should have access to that doc because you are in the Google groups, and I shared it to all the Google groups. So see if you can edit that doc, and you'll see some of the suggested topics. I put suggested topics out there because it seems to be one of the bottlenecks that people have is thinking about something to talk about. So I put that out there as suggested topics. But certainly any topic you feel like you want to do. And all you need to do is put your name at the bottom and indicate what your title is going to be.
Okay.
And then we'll pull it together.
And then also this Friday, I believe, is I'm doing a webinar on how to get started for Hacktoberfest.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that one will be recorded as well, but if you want to join live, it should be on the calendar. So it's just going to go over since we have Hacktoberfest starting tomorrow, what we need to do on that front for getting, how to navigate, find issues, those type of things. So it's not going to be a super long one, but it will be how we get started with Hacktoberfest. Also on that note, we will need a couple people to mentor and keep an eye out on pull requests and help people get started and things like that. I know, Sasha, last time we did this, you helped out with doing PRs and getting people started. It wasn't too bad, was it, time wise?
I mostly just bugged you because I was also breaking things.
Yeah.
But I'm much better now, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm much more skilled, so I can do a much better job.
You'll break it worse now. So
yeah, I'll definitely help out, eh?
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I would like to kind of get started and dive deep into Ortelius. I have somebody in my team that I already spoke about Ortelius for us to do like a local setup and kind of poke holes and understand how we can leverage it.
And one thing we would ask is when you go through that local setup, we need to make sure that the documentation, because this is the biggest criticism that just not of us, but in all open source projects. We heard this from the Jenkins folks as well. The documentation on how to get up and going usually isn't thorough enough. And we need to make sure that we fill those holes, like you said, on that front to make it easy for everybody. That'd be great.
I will have my engineer kind of document the setup, and if I can, I'll have him automate the setup to install Ortelius locally.
Perfect.
And,
yeah.
And Steve, just so you know, they're going to do there'll be our first corporate contributor.
Okay, awesome.
So we're going to do like a nice little press release and whatnot on that.
Perfect. So I just put in the link to the guides there.
Yeah, but I just need a little bit of hand-holding, Tracy and Steve, in the beginning, just to get some familiarity with everything. I have all the links that Tracy sent to me, but I think the demos as well as somebody to talk to.
Yep. The best thing is, like I said, is the Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, because if I'm not around, we have folks all over the world that can help.
And I'm going to put in the chat Steve's calendar link. My suggestion is go ahead and just get schedule a 45-minute session on Steve's calendar.
Sure.
One little thing I need to find out is if somebody has some time. I assigned the issue to Karam, but he hasn't been able to pick it up yet. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I don't know why it's not in. Let me share my screen again. So Utkarsh, I was thinking maybe this one would be good for you. What we're running into is when Postgres for our microservices times out the connection, our logic in the microservices isn't 100% clean on how it recovers. So we get this error. Now, after you get the error and you go back and hit it again, it's recovered. But we just need to make it a little bit cleaner so we don't have a lost transaction. So that's basically what's happening is the microservice times out with the database connection. Somebody comes in and hits it, they get the error message. Now, if they come back and try it again, everything's fine. But what I like to see is if when they come in the first time and we recognize we get this operational error, that we go ahead and recover automatically that same transaction. I think it's just gonna be some of the logic that we have in the SQL Alchemy piece. And I was wondering, Utkarsh, if you could take a look at this.
Yeah, sure, Steve.
Okay. Thank you.
You have some documentation pieces. I can do that at the moment. It's a bit crazy in my work, but
Yeah. So if we look at, and this is kind of like the where we are with Hacktoberfest. We do have documentation. Well, the way we kind of split it out is where the first part of it is kind of like the keyword or what we're looking for. And there should be, I thought there were some documentation ones out here. I don't know why I'm not seeing them, but we just in general, we need to make sure that the new features that we've added are documented. I'll make sure that I get some documentation pieces out here. I'll assign them all to you, Sasha.
and they're all Markdown, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
So what it is if you go to the docs here, and in our documentation here, there will be a content English, and we have our two guides. This will be in the user guide, and then wherever it needs to make sense, like installation, for example, it's just these simple markdowns, and they're not very big. So like this markdown is only not even 2 pages long. So it's real simple. And then you can test it locally with Hugo. And in the contributor guide, I believe we have how to set up Hugo and what you need. When you set up Hugo on the Windows machine, you have to use Chocolately to do the install, and you have to make sure you install the extended packages. And once you do that, you just type Hugo space server at the command line, and it'll render the whole website locally. And if you make an editing change and save it, it'll refresh the website automatically. So it's very easy to make the updates and make sure you're good to go. And I'll make sure that we have the issues sorted out. Just for the new folks, we put all of our issues off of the main Ortelius repo, even though the issue may be with like a microservice or documentation. It just makes it easier for all of us to find the issues in one place instead of having them scattered across our 50 repos. So if you're looking for something, the Ortelius repos where we need to look. And I'll go ahead and make sure that we have an issue open for the new features that we've added around the components. So anything else? We're coming up at the end of the half hour. Arvin, you were asking a question about YouTubers. I just saw something.
Yeah, I know some. Yeah, I know some DevOps YouTubers. Can I share this event with them if they want to
Oh yeah,
participate
definitely.
in a talk?
Yeah.
Even I can share their account before, so you can take a look on their profile and their type of YouTube videos.
Yeah, definitely. The more we can get the word out, the better. And if we can get some tips and tricks from them, that's always a big help. And getting the likes and the shares and all those things always helps in the long run for us.
Yeah, I am sharing their YouTube link in the chat so you can take a look.
Okay. Let me grab that. All right. Thank you, everybody. And just a reminder, if you are interested, we have a second architecture meeting today with the Australian group at 4:30 Mountain Time, and which makes it like 8:30 Sydney time AM. And we're going over the GitOps, where we are with GitOps on that one. So if you're interested, you can come back and join us this afternoon in the
I'll be
States.
on that, Steve. I'm interested in kind of probably initially just to know where you guys are at on the
Yep.
GitOps thing, but I'll be able to ask questions. And
Definitely.
we recently implemented GitOps for an organization, but I kind of want to know the branching strategy and the base setup that is required. So
Okay. Yeah, we can cover that. So excellent. All right,
Okay,
everybody, I have to jump
Many-
off for another meeting.
many thanks to all.
Thank you,
Oh,
everybody.
bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.